this is dkdynamite, and tonight I'm going to be showing you guys how you can complete the main Easter egg here on Numa within Call of Duty Mobile Zombies. So with the release of Season 2 earlier this morning, we unfortunately only got one map, and it's this World at War Classic, but luckily we can play Survival, Easy Raid, and Hard Raid here on Numa, and the main Easter egg can only be completed within the Hard Raid version of this map. So when you hop into a game, you'll notice that if you click down on your D-pad, depending on if you're using a controller, you can actually see the various Easter egg steps. Now, if you're not familiar with how you can connect a controller to Call of Duty Mobile, I have a full guide to that down below in the description. But the first step requires you to find two different cogs, and do resemble the cogs from Zetsubo no Shima a little bit. And from the games I've played, they've spawned in the exact same spots. The first cog is right here on this table, just downstairs from spawn, and the other cog is just a couple of feet away on this other table here towards the center of the hut. Once you pick up both cogs, you want to open up most of the map and make your way up to this gondola mechanism very close to spawn as well, and you have to place in one cog at a time to actually repair the gondola itself. Now once the gondola is repaired, you can then make your way over to this lab that resembles Zetsubo no Shima, and you'll then want to read this experiment diary located in a very specific room. I'm going to show you guys exactly where that is, and this area isn't too big, but again, it's pretty cool how this map is a bit of a hybrid between Numa and Zetsubo, considering both were technically run by Division 9 in the Ether storyline, so I can see the connection there. So once you've read the diary, the next step is just shooting these blue rocks in this specific room, and there's a couple of rocks on each side of the room, so make sure you get them all. You just have to shoot the rocks until you get plenty of hit markers and these vines that'll pop out from the rocks and just lay next to them. Once you've done that enough, you want to make sure you get that red check mark on the actual plant in your Easter egg tracker to make sure that you successfully beat that step. Once you're done with those rocks, make your way over to this room just down the hall to activate this little machine. It'll input this code called Akama no Ki, and you'll then notice that the abomination boss that's supposed to be on round 12 has now been replaced by this new Groot looking boss named Japako or Japako. I probably mispronounced that, but you guys can correct me down below in the comments. So yes, even in the easy raid, even though you only have to complete, I think it's like 8 rounds or so, you face the abomination, and then in the hard raid, you gotta pass like 12 rounds to then face the abomination. But with this little Easter egg, you've replaced that abomination boss with the Groot looking tree boss, which is really cool. And it's funny how the model for this boss actually leaked not too long ago. But after this, it's all a matter of surviving, so you have to pass 12 full rounds before you can actually get to the boss fight. So within these rounds, you'll get various different zombies, plenty of hellhounds, 2 avogadros, a couple of spawns for Brutus, and a few napalm infernal zombies. Yes, the ones from Shangri-La. So those will be quite annoying, but perks will still spawn in different huts, and I believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe the perks do spawn in the same place in every match that you play. I played about 5 matches now, and the perks have always been in the same spot, so unless I have God tier RNG, I believe the perks do stay in the same spots. But you of course have Quick Revive at spawn, you then have Juggernog, Electric Cherry, Deadshot, and Double Tap spawning into different huts, while you'll then get Stamina Up and Speed Cola spawning down by the lab, the area that resembles Zetsubo no Shima. So let me know what you think about the perk spawns down below in the comments. Do you like them to stay in the same spots? Do you prefer it to be like the original Numa, where they kind of cycle through different locations in every match that you play? You could buy as many perks as you'd like, and I'd highly recommend spinning the box for the ray gun, since it's super OP against the giant tree boss himself. And there's a buff system that also helps a tiny bit, since we currently don't have a way to pack-a-punch our weapons in game. We know pack-a-punch will be locked behind a paywall, and even a pay-to-win mechanic in the near future where you can pay COD points to pack-a-punch your weapon before the game starts, so that when you acquire that weapon in game, the weapon will then be upgraded. But that feature isn't currently available for Numa, but probably will be added in very, very soon. Now, there's a couple of buffs that you can choose from. You can even continue upgrading these buffs with your points throughout the rest of the match. I had a couple of them that increased my health and some damage that I do and my stamina, so those are definitely helpful, and I kind of maxed out those buffs to I think level 5 and beyond just by spending points, and they also help with your damage while using the ray gun and other various weapons out there. There is a volcanic variant of the HT40 that apparently shoots these elemental bullets at the boss, and that'll actually insta-kill him for the most part in just like a minute and a half or something. So if you guys have that HT40 variant, be sure to get that when you play Numa and do this Easter egg. But if you don't have that, the ray gun is your best bet, so keep spinning the box until you get it. But you aren't going to necessarily die if you have a regular weapon against the boss, but again, a ray gun is highly recommended, because if you don't have that, it'll take you a little bit longer to actually get through the various phases of the boss fight. Now, there's even a new coin system that works similarly to Gobblegums, and the first one you get is of course cheap, but then you have to spend higher and higher amounts of points to get even more coins throughout your match. I ended up getting one that's pretty similar to In Plain Sight, and again, these rounds aren't too difficult. If you're playing on co-op, make sure you give each other some space, use the actual flogger if you have to. It's definitely very useful, and watch out for those hellhounds. I'm sure they'll nerf them later down the line, but they're pretty damn OP in this game, and probably a little bit worse than the hellhounds that were at launch of Black Ops 4. They were nearly unbeatable and just too damn fast. So make sure you have a good loadout before you get to the dog round. But yes, you will be rewarded with max ammos throughout those dog rounds. But once you pass round number 12, you can now face Japako, the giant tree boss. And I love the little cinematics and these nice mid-game cutscenes that they play for this boss. It's really damn nice. And you have to continuously spam him with whatever weapon you have. Hopefully you have the ray gun or that volcanic HG40 at this point in time. And luckily you do have unlimited ammo in this boss fight, so there isn't much to worry about. But there's a couple of different consistent phases throughout the boss itself. You'll notice that he kind of throws these blue looking skulls at you, similar to the boss from Horizon Drac, that also sends some skulls chasing you, which could honestly insta-down you if you're standing still, so make sure you're moving a lot throughout the boss itself. He'll also shoot these vines at you that can trap you in place, so make sure whenever that happens, you kind of shoot those vines. Only takes about a couple of shots, so you can break free from that and keep moving once again. There's a bunch of zombies, of course, spawning. Luckily, no Avogadros or a Brutus or any Hellhounds, just straight zombies. You can honestly avoid them. You don't have to even shoot them, to be honest with you, so just walk around them and shoot the boss when you can. And besides that, you also have these occasional swings that'll do on you, so make sure whenever he does that giant swing attack, you just take your knife out and run as fast as you can away from him, because that will instantly down you, so that's not a lot of fun. So make sure whenever you see those phases, you know exactly how to react to them, because he does do, I think it's like 3 or 4 total attacks, which isn't too bad, to be honest with you, even though this is a hardcore raid. Just make sure that you know how to be very mobile throughout this actual boss fight. And stamina up as a perk is also very helpful when you're trying to avoid his swing attack, so that's another big plus whenever you hop into Shino Numa here. And also, whenever air support is provided, make sure you do have the giant tree boss stand in the flames that are left behind from the airstrike, just to be sure that you do more damage to him over time. And with the more players you have in your game, obviously means more zombie spawns throughout the rounds on this boss. But if you guys all have buffs on your weapons, or if you're lucky enough to have the volcanic HG40 variants, then you could do a lot of damage in just under a minute. But don't worry, if you guys are new to the game and only have these base game weapons without any buffs or without any ray guns or wonder weapons, you can still kill this boss in a few extra minutes, but it's not impossible. So keep trying, keep moving around, and that is about it. But again, the boss himself does have 2 different health bars you have to deplete, and take your time with it if you're new and not very confident in roaming around this area. But it almost feels like the boss that Zetsubo no Shima should have had. This boss fight is definitely more energetic and a lot more challenging than the one we ended up getting with Takeo at the end of Zetsubo no Shima's Easter egg. But let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section. This has been dkdynamite. As another reminder, the easy raid on Shino Numa makes you burn through 8 different rounds before you face the Abomination, while the hardcore raid makes you burn through 12 rounds, giving you the choice to face either the Abomination again or the Jabuko giant tree boss after doing this short Easter egg. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What is the next map you guys want to see here in Call of Duty Mobile Zombies? I know we already got plenty of alpha gameplay of Green Run and Diner and Farm featuring an Avogadro boss fight, which looked fantastic. And I'm surprised that, you know, the game itself or Season 2 did not launch with more zombies maps, right? Because gameplay of maps like Transit have already been out there for well over a year, almost 2 years now. So those maps are definitely finished, but I'm sure they're pulling a Modern Warfare where they kind of release the game in a bit of a bare bones state, and they kind of save all the content that's already finished for the post-launch season, so that the game seems like it's updated really damn often. So maybe every 2 to 3 weeks we'll get different zombie maps, modes, bosses, weapons, abilities, features at the main menu, and so forth. But that is about it. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.